Hey, Ken, it's Larry from Fort Wayne. Just wanted to let you know that we can't hear you. I, I'm just wanting to let you know, like,
No. Okay, that's very good. Thank you, because nobody on the chat told me. I would have liked that, so I appreciate that. Uh, oh my God,
oh, we
there it
got you
is.
now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's what I did. I was getting ready to go on, and they were, I'm getting everything going, and I had everything working. I could hear myself, but it was the feed from the OBS. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start this over, but don't go anywhere because you're the first call I'm going to go to. So we'll go
All
ahead
right, man.
and get this started. So don't go nowhere. So
I won't.
hi- how you doing, everybody? I'm Ken Bikoff, and welcome to the Peegs Postgame Live. Indiana 113 to 72 winners on a historic night at Simon Scott Assembly Hall. Lamar Wilkerson 44 points. That's a IU record for a single game scoring record here in Assembly Hall. Also 10 made threes. That is also a program record. And a lot of stuff to talk about with this. We're going to go right to the phones. And we're going to start with Larry. Larry, how are you doing?
Hey, Larry from Fort Wayne. Here we go. You ready, Ken? I got one for you.
Bring me it.
Kit Kat, rat-a-tat, give a dog a bone. When you're playing D, don't you dare leave Lamar alone.
Ooh.
Lamar Wilkerson, a shooter so slick. From deep beyond the arc, his threes will click. With every splash, the crowd would cheer. His name now etched in history year after year. How about them threes?
Yes, sir. And again, the record, previous record was nine. Rod Wilmot, Matt Roth, and Robert Johnson all made nine. And this one, I mean, he was catching it and shooting it in rhythm. He wasn't hunting threes. I always joke about the Rod Wilmot heat check, which is something that Rod would do. This wasn't a, there was a one for Wilkerson, but when you have an offense that's running as well as theirs was, uh, it's easy to get those open looks. And then for a shooter like Lamar, he can make them. Been on a little bit of a rough streak, but shooters shoot, and they got out of it.
Yeah, so what I want to say about that three, to your point, he had to know he was close. During that time when he had nine, I believe he had two assists, and that just shows uh, the quality of person that he is. Now, to follow that up, the other team or the other teammates, excuse me, knew that he was one away, and you could see them hooking him up at the very end to help him get that. And I just thought that was just a tremendous. Um, I don't know. I just really enjoyed the team chemistry within this whole record-breaking night.
I agree with you completely. I saw a couple of them to where maybe he had been able to force it, but he dumped it down to teammates and scored. And I thought that was very nice unselfishness on his part. Now he says that he didn't know. DeVries says he didn't know, but they knew he was getting close to something. I don't know if I necessarily believe them because there
Yeah, I
are
don't
people
think
right
I
there
would either.
that
But
are telling him, but he says he wasn't hunting it, and at the very least, he didn't play like he was hunting it, and that to me is as telling as anything. And then, like you said, his teammates were looking for him. So is it they're just looking for the hot hand? Do they know what's going on? Either way, it worked, and it was a hell of an effort on his part.
it was wonderful, and I hope Purdue will be able to handle that. I'll get off and let somebody else call you, brother. I just wanted to call and let you know we appreciate you as always. We'll talk to you after Kentucky. Go
I I,
IU.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, buddy.
Take care. Kevin on the chat says I need a producer. I don't disagree with that. Don't disagree with that at all. But I'm a one man band, baby. I got to do the press conference, and I pack up all my stuff, rush back up here to get on the air. Here at home, it's a little bit easier in my home studio, but I don't want to miss this. Got another caller. Caller, have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
JB Ryan from Round Lake.
Ryan, how you doing?
Hey man, I apologize. I meant to call in after the big Hoosier win Saturday night.
Yep.
I gotta be honest, I was too excited to call in. Too excited, man. I stayed up. I was on the phone with my dad, texting buddies. on Twitter. By the time I knew it, 2 a.m. had rolled around, and I need to be back in Allen County by 7 a.m. So Whitley County ain't that far from Allen, but it's a little bit of a drive.
Yeah.
Lamar tonight, man, as the previous caller said, like he was exceptional. Shot it well. I mentioned my buddy who's in the Kentucky Air National Guard. I played Gus Macker. All right, you ever heard of Gus Macker?
Oh, I played in
3-on-3
Gus
stuff.
Macker Toilet Bowl championship once. So.
Hey, me and him played, and one time we were the toilet bowl champions. This pilot, he could really shoot it, and he didn't hit that many threes, but it reminded me a little bit of his toughness. I do have another song for you.
Okay.
Bounce Back by Big Sean.
Okay.
It's a little bit like a redemption song. You've taken some losses, come back, gather yourself, and move on. I do think Penn State is terrible. I'm taking nothing away from the Hoosiers.
Right.
Now, I'm going to pull up their schedule real quick if you got just a moment. Do you think they win more than 2 Big Ten games?
Who, Penn State?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I will fully admit that the only time that I've seen Penn State play is tonight, and they ran into a buzzsaw and one that really needed like you said, a bounce back game. And by that same token, Penn State didn't play poorly. They really didn't. They had 14 turnovers, but they shot 46% from the field. So, I mean, they're going to scratch out some wins at home. They'll do that more than two. I don't know, but it's the limited thing that I saw of Penn State. I just felt that they ran into a buzzsaw here.
I think Mike Rhodes is a good coach. VCU, they were tough. I think he needs to get some fellas in there that kind of fits his system a little bit. They're a young team. I get that, but no, I was very, very encouraged from the performance tonight. Lamar coming out. One last question, then I'll let someone else call in. Do you have a prediction for Saturday? I have a family Christmas. Sadly, I will not be able to watch. I'm back. I got to go back down to Henry County, so I'm not going to be able to watch the Hoosiers at Rupp. But do you get a prediction on that?
Winning at Rupp's tough, and Indiana still, despite what they did today, they're going to have to knock down shots like they did today. But it's that quickness, that athleticism, and all of that, and the size that Kentucky will bring. But if you make shots like they did tonight, they shoot the ball well like they did, they're going to give themselves a chance. If they don't, you could run into a situation like Louisville, where hopefully Indiana's defense will be a little bit more energized than what we saw against Louisville. But that one might be a tough one for where this team is, unless they're shooting the ball well.
Yep. Hey, I appreciate it. Hopefully, I'll listen to Fish online and can get back to Whitley County and catch the post game show. So I appreciate your time and everything you do.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
God bless.
812-393-2600 is the number. Let's go over a couple of the keys here in this game. And obviously, it is Indiana going 42 of 61 from the field overall. And in the first half alone, Indiana went 23 of 34. They made 2 out of every 3 shots that they took in the first half. And then in the second half, they did better. 19 of 27, 70.4%. In the second half, Indiana knocks down 17 of 31 three-pointers, 12 of 15 from the free throw line. Again, 30 assists on 42 made baskets. That is the second most assists in program history. back in at Alaska Anchorage in 2001, they had 31 assists. In 1981, Indiana handed out 30 assists at home against Northwestern. 9 times they've handed out 29 assists. The last time they had 29 was in 2006, which means, this again is a historic, the most assists that they've had in 24 years. I mean, that is, it really, or I guess it'd be 19 years and tied for the most that they've had in 44 years. It just incredible numbers today. And I'm talking about Lamar Wilkerson doing all of that, but take into account that Reed Bailey, he comes off the bench in this one. First time that he's come off the bench, he responds with 18 points on 6 of 6 shooting, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, and grabs 5 rebounds. I mean, he responded to being sat down about as well as you can. This Indiana team just was very, very efficient. 5 players in double figures on the night. We got another caller. Caller, have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hi, yeah, this is Mac Baker from Bluffton, Indiana. Longtime listener, first-time caller. Just enjoying this Hoosier win. Was wondering if you would add one IU football player to this basketball roster, who would it be?
Omar Cooper.
Why do you think that is?
Well, he's just so athletic. He's quick. I don't know if he can handle the ball or not, but he's quick. He could, we saw against Penn State what his leaping ability is like. He's a big guy, so that would be the guy that I would go to. Also, you can rarely go wrong with tight ends playing, unless they get too big. But you have tight ends are a great option, and but it really, to me, it would be Omar Cooper.
And then I'm watching this Hoosier team, and KB, I've been going back and forth. What do you really think the ceiling is for this Hoosier ball club?
Every night is going to be about whether they're making shots and whether they're knocking them down from the perimeter. There's not really anybody on this roster who can consistently create his own offense off the bounce, and that's a concern. This isn't a team blessed with great size, great depth inside, so foul trouble is a problem. Quickness and athleticism are also a little bit of I don't want to say anchors, but weights holding this team back. I think it's really just going to come down to what is this team doing in terms of getting shots? Are they knocking down shots and continuing to play unselfishly? And then again, just staying out of foul trouble is really important. Now, the answer to all of that is, can they be a tournament team if they're knocking down shots and if they're playing defense and improving game and week after week? Uh, I think that they can be, but you just really need to find consistency. And the tough part about it is when you rely so much on that perimeter shooting, teams can lock you down and really kind of force you outside. And if you can't scheme something up to get guys open shots at the rim, and you don't have a ton of guys that can consistently get scores off the bounce, that's really going to hold you back.
No, I agree, KB. Just want to thank you for your time. We appreciate you. You make my night every time watching it after a Hoosier game.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, have a good night, brother.
Take care. 812-393-2600. Again, just an amazing night, and it's so much fun to see after what we saw with Minnesota and what we saw with Louisville, for IU to come out here and play with the energy they did right off the opening tip. There was a little bit of a shift in that Sam Alexis was inserted into the starting lineup. He plays 16 minutes, is held scoreless, doesn't even attempt a shot. Has 2 rebounds, 3 assists, had 3 fouls, which isn't great, but he's plus 32 on the night, which is third best on the team. What are you doing to help your ball club? So that was impressive. I liked the team's energy tonight, and I think that was really important. And this was a team that was locked in, and it continued to build as guys were making shots. We got another caller. Caller, if you have your name, where you're from, what you got?
Yeah, hey, this is Joey calling from Huntington again. Ken, this was this was a much needed game we needed to have tonight.
Oh,
Like
for
the
sure.
one caller said, a bounce back in a bit of a statement way as well, right? Hanging in 113 on, some of these preseason teams we play that are, ranked 300th is one thing, but to put 113 on a Big Ten team, even if it's not a great Big Ten team, that's kind of a statement, I think, right?
For sure. For sure. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's not a top 5 performance in terms of points, but they had opportunities late to do that, all time. But still, a great explosion of scoring, which is just something this team really needed.
Yeah. So the other point I was going to make, and I think I've got to eat crow here publicly to everyone that listens to this show, is, I've called in multiple times and been pretty critical of Reed Bailey, and I know you made the comment, he responded as well as he could have off the bench, and
Hmm.
I'm looking at his stat line right now, right? He's got 18 points on 6 of 6 from the floor. Maybe a little light on rebounding for a guy his size at 5 boards, but the glaring thing to me on that is Sam Alexis has arguably his worst game. Do we see Bailey just getting his starting spot back against Kentucky, or do you think that this is something where we try to roll with this spark off the bench, Ken?
Maybe you try to switch it up. I mean, it worked really well today. Yeah, Bailey came off the bench and was really effective. Alexis has played in Rupp Arena before, or at least been on a Florida team that was there. So that could be part of it. And I've been somebody who's been a proponent of bringing Alexis into the starting lineup, and bringing
Yep.
Reed as a little spark off the bench. It ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's Alexis started, but it's not like he played like the first 10-minute segment. It was a couple of minutes and he came out. To me, that is something that they just needed to change things up a little bit. Darren DeVries said as much in his press conference, and you'll get to hear that in just a few minutes. But he is, I wouldn't tinker with it when it worked as well as it did tonight.
Yeah, I think the other guy that has been pleasantly surprising as of late, and I think he's emerged as a leader on this team, and I guess I didn't necessarily see it coming. Again, looking at the line from tonight, is Peyton Connerway. You touched on 30 assists on 42 made field goals. Connerway has 17 points. That's great, but go down the stat line, he has 7 assists too. I mean, that guy just makes things happen. And again, has just emerged as really a very pleasant surprise for this coach over here, right? Like I didn't see that coming necessarily.
Well, and the 7 assists versus just the 2 turnovers. So, and he's also limited the times that he's gone shot hunting too for himself. And he's the one guy that I've seen have little moments of that, not consistent, but moments of shot hunting. He didn't do it today. He wasn't forcing things, and when he does that, it's a huge positive for this team. I was really happy with what I saw from him.
100%, 100%. Ken, are you making the trip down to Kentucky?
I am not. No.
Will you be drinking any bourbon in celebration of them playing Kentucky?
Maybe.
Ken, we talked about this. Woodford Double Oak, Costco. It's a great deal.
No. This isn't about a lack of bourbon for me. Trust me. My wife says I have too much bourbon, which is not a thing. And I have the double oaked there. The thing is, see, the timing is I don't drink before these games. And so, you have Kentucky will start, and I think it's a 7 o'clock start, I think. Maybe 7:30. That starts. So after we do that, so maybe, or I might save that till Sunday.
Is there ever a chance where you pour yourself a nightcap during the Peegs post-game show, or is that considered unprofessional for a man in your position right here?
I've never been accused of being overly professional, and I take great pride in that. And I will say that after if you go back and check the tape, after the bucket game, I had myself a sip right at the end of that to celebrate the end of the regular season, and I did that on camera. So yeah, it happens.
Oh,
Yeah, and
well, and I
again,
think it's only fitting.
I mean,
I think it's only fitting, Ken.
I'm not overly professional. I had a nice cigar and a bourbon on Sunday after I woke up after what happened over at Lucas Oil Stadium on Saturday. So.
Well, then I think if we get a win versus Kentucky, I think there has to be a victory bourbon poured on camera on the show. I want that to happen.
Well, I mean, I take requests, so that's exciting.
I'll
I'm
call it
here
my
for it.
Christmas wish, man. Christmas wish.
All right.
All right, sir. Thanks for everything you do. Appreciate you taking my call. We'll have a good evening. And again, tune in to Huntington News Now for all Huntington North coverage. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Take care. Appreciate the call.
Bye.
There you go. Well, I've kind of committed myself to that, and I'm here for it. So 812-393-2600 is the number. Let's go through some numbers real quick. Again, Lamar Wilkerson, 44 points on 16 to 22 shooting, 10 of 15 from three-point range, went to the free throw line twice, had 4 rebounds, 4 assists, just 1 turnover, 3 steals, so he played a little bit of defense, 24 minutes. 44 points in 24 minutes. Get the hell out of here. That is amazing. That is incredible numbers. Tate Connerway, 17 points on 7 of 9 shooting, made both of his 3-point attempts, 3 rebounds, 7 assists. We said 2 turnovers, 2 steals, 25 minutes. He was plus 36 on the night. Tucker DeVries, kind of a lost story in this thing. 12 points on 5 of 10 shooting, 2 of 6 from 3-point range. He adds a rebound, 6 assists versus 1 turnover, a block, a steal in 32 minutes, about plus 45 for Tucker. And then Connor Enright, 2 points on 1 of 2 shooting, 8 assists versus 1 turnover. So here's what you got. You got Enright with 8 assists versus 1 turnover. Connerway, 7 assists versus 2 turnovers. Tucker, 6 assists versus 1 turnover. 10 turnovers for the Hoosiers on the night. That is efficient. And so Indiana's been far more efficient this season than they haven't been. And so that's why that Minnesota game and the Louisville game were, I don't know, it wasn't shocking, but it was just different than what we've seen. Will that continue? Kentucky will be a nice measuring stick on that coming up here. Off the bench, again, Reed Bailey, 18 points, 5 rebounds, an assist, a steal, 21 minutes. Nick Dorn, it was great to see him out there and putting in 25 minutes. So his minutes keep going up. 13 points on 5 of 7 shooting, 2 of 4 from 3-point range. He added 2 rebounds in 25 minutes. Trent Sisley plays 22 minutes, doesn't try to do too much. 4 points on 1 of 4 shooting, missed all 3 of his 3-point attempts, but he had 8 rebounds to go along with an assist. Alexa Ristich, 3 points on 1 of 1 shooting. That came from the 3-point line. So welcome to the scoring column, Alexa Ristich, and he played 7 minutes. Got a little bit more time. Then you had walk-ons Drew Snively and Ian Stevens coming in and getting a couple of minutes as well. 113 to 72. Just a fantastic job by that group. I mean, just can't say enough about it. 812-393-2600 is the number. As it's 20 minutes to 12 here on a Tuesday night. I'm going to go ahead and bring you comments from head coach Darren DeVries here because he had some interesting things to say about his team's performance, what they were able to accomplish, some of those changes in his lineup. So without any further ado, here is head coach Darren DeVries during his post-game press conference.
Like that. I mean, how freeing is that to watch, and just what do you think kind of drove that?
Yeah, like you said a few times, he's had a couple nights where he struggled. Like I was never worried about that. He's that level of a shooter. Now he's not going to do 44 every night, but he has that confidence. He puts in the work, every day, and it was fun to see him kind of get loose and kind of showcase all that work he puts in.
The connectivity tonight with the offense, just pleased with kind of the improvements you made over the last 2 games, and is it get back to basics in practice, or what do you kind of do to kind of refocus them?
Yeah, we had gone back here, after the Minnesota game and looked at some of the offensive, like what what caused it, because it was, there wasn't a lot of movement and things. So as we went backwards, looking at some games early in the season, comparing it to now, it stood out pretty good. So we put a ton of time here this last week on just getting more actions, more movement. And sometimes you can't always do that. People deny you can't just throw the ball from side to side. So at some point you still have to be able to go make a play. But I thought the guys did a really good job tonight keeping the ball, as we like to say, hot. Keep it hot and keep it moving. And player and ball movement I thought was really good tonight.
You talked about Lamar's ability to do this. Just how helpful is it for him and for you guys as a team? For him to go out, it's still just December. Have a night like this.
Yeah, I think it's great for him. I think even for really good shooters, you start to sometimes if you overthink it, you can start to press a little bit in your own mind. But when he gets one or two down, you could just see like it was just a relief for him tonight. That and then after that, it was then it was just fun. He's. We need him. He's an important piece, especially for our offense. He draws a lot of gravity, and he for that reason. And, when we can get him going, and then on a night, we get one of those other guys going, or if you can get two of them going on the same night, that's where, offensively you can have a night like this.
I guess to that end, just how important is it for, 5 different guys in double figures? The whole team sees 17 threes go through the basket. I know a couple of down nights shooting coming into this. Just how important is a night like this where maybe A, they sort of feed off a teammate the way you talked about, and B, just everybody gets to feel a little bit more confident at the end of it?
Yeah, I think that's always good, from, confidence individually, collectively as a team. And it's funny how that works. Sometimes, like one guy gets it going, it seems like everybody feels like they're hot. So, and really the Louisville game, I thought we had, better movement and things. We still got up to 80 points, but, some of those looks, we just didn't hit them, knock them down the way that we would have liked. But it was nice to see tonight, 30 assists to go with it. I think that's a big piece of it too, like we've talked about all year. You have 30 assists. Usually that means we were getting pretty clean, good looks, the kind of shots that we wanted.
Coach, what led to the lineup change tonight, and how do you feel like Reed responded?
Yeah, lineup change, like I told Reed and Sam, it wasn't really anything more than we just want to try to create a spark. Wasn't anything negative towards either one of them. We wanted to take a look at it. I thought Reed responded great, and like you knew he would. I thought it freed him up a little bit, gave him coming off the bench maybe just a chance to process, as the game's going. Allows us with Sam just a little more physicality to start the game, and then Reed come in and kind of utilize some of his speed and things. So, he handled it great. I thought he did a nice job coming off the bench for us tonight. Very aggressive.
Lamar said tonight, or earlier today actually, you told him that tonight was going to be his night where he would go off. What led to your thinking of that, and what was that conversation like?
I don't know. I think I tell him that all the time, though. But yeah, we spent a little time just talking to him about, like, dude, just relax, shoot, like, just have fun, like, let that thing fly. And again, when he sees a couple go down, you can just tell, like, he was feeling good about it.
Darren, did you realize, I guess, as Lamar was, racking up the points and the threes, did you realize he was closing in on that threes record or the building scoring record? And I guess, if you did realize that, was there any emphasis to try to get him that record before you pulled him out?
I really had no idea what the record was, but based on the fans, he was close to something. Apparently he broke a lot of them, so good for him. But the only thing I knew was the 40 points, just not even whether it was a record or not, just that, that's a pretty cool, milestone to get in the game, and, it was cool to see him get it.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
812-393-2600 is the number. Again, I don't necessarily completely believe when he says that he didn't know and the players didn't know. I don't know. Do you tell your players that? Do they hear it? I don't know. But whatever it is, he needs to keep up what he's doing. Got another caller. Caller, have your name, where you're from, and what you got. I brought him on, and then he disappeared. Please call back. Love to hear from you. Sorry, if dropped out. Want to hear from you. Anyway, really interesting. Just him talking about how. Well, I say that to Lamar all the time. Um, you need a coach that will believe in you, and I know that the vision, the plan for Indiana basketball is shoot a bunch of threes. That is what Darren DeVries likes to do. That's how he likes to play. And so being able uh, to have somebody who can encourage you even when you're in a little bit of a slump. Say, keep shooting, give it to us. We know you'll hit him. You know you'll hit him. You know you'll hit him. And then to start having it go through, that really helps belief in a coach and build a program like that. So that was good to hear, to say the least. And again, the Reed Bailey thing. Um, you tell a guy, hey, you're not going to start. We're going to switch things up. Just need a little spark. How that player responds is just so incredibly important. And it's everything to a program. Do you have a guy who's going to be unselfish? Do you have a guy that's going to pout? This program has already shown that it is filled with unselfish players. The assists that Indiana is handing out on made baskets is incredible. That's a function of a couple of different things. One is unselfishness. The other is needing each other to get baskets. And that's where I say creating off the dribble, uh, seeing that crease and taking it yourself, that isn't a big part of what Indiana's offense does. You have guys that can make that happen from time to time. You get Wilkerson on a back cut. Dorn can make some things happen with the ball. Same thing with Tate Connerway. But uh, on a consistent basis, it's never a thing of, hey, let's clear out and let him operate. That's just not how it works. It's not, hey, let's dump the ball inside and let him operate to the point that he has to get his own bucket. So Indiana needs all five guys on the floor to be working together. And that is the one thing that I think it's not a strength of this team, but that ability to work together to be unselfish with the ball, that could help them overcome some of these teams that may not be as disciplined as Indiana is, and that could help them overcome at least some of their shortcomings somewhere along the way. 812-393-2600 is the number. 113 points in this game for Indiana, which they moved to 1-1 on the conference, and then the 8-2 overall. The fact that this is a team that, even in these losses that they've had recently, uh, the loss to Louisville, Indiana scored 78 points. Lost to Minnesota 64, so that one wasn't as impressive. But the win over Kansas State, 86 points. Yeah, you had 100 against Bethune-Cookman. You had 101 against Milwaukee, 100 against Marquette, which isn't a bad one. Alabama A&M, 98 points. This is a high-scoring Indiana team. They had these hiccups against Minnesota and against Louisville, and the key against Louisville was digging a hole early. Avoiding that in the future is going to be critical, but Indiana could fill it up in a heartbeat, especially when shots are falling. Shots were obviously falling tonight. Will they at Rupp Arena? That's a good question, but you do have games then, Chicago State, Siena. You have those before we get into the new year. I think that this is a team that has proven it could put up big points in a hurry. So that is something that's going to make teams work a little bit harder. And Indiana has shown a willingness to be patient with the ball and make teams work a little bit harder when they need to. The Hoosiers 38 points off the bench, 42 points in the paint, 26 points off of turnovers. So again, 42 points in the paint. You ended up with 51 points from 3-point range, 12 from the free throw line. That's good efficiency. You have that. Um, one thing I wanted to mention here too, um, on a non-basketball note, is we got to talk to Fernando Mendoza. in the press room prior to the game. Mendoza talked to us for about 17 minutes. He was uh, such an interesting kid. Had a black sleeve on his right arm. He said that and some people have asked us about that. He has had a bad turf burn, he said, on his arm that is being protected with that. He's going to be just fine with that. So, if you're concerned about it, don't be. Uh, I think that he's headed to New York. He's a Heisman Trophy finalist. Uh, you are the quarterback, an incredibly efficient quarterback on the number one team in the country. You have beaten Ohio State. It's a college football playoff team. You've beaten Oregon, college football playoff team. I know there is some chatter about the kid from Vanderbilt possibly, making a late run at this thing. Mendoza's the guy, and there's not a real good argument against it. When you look at his resume, what he's done against top team in the country, to a couple of college football playoff, and he put up on so many of these games. They put up so many points. He didn't have to play most of the third quarter. So don't spout stats at me about the kid from Vandy. Fernando Mendoza is should be and will be your Heisman Trophy winner. Should be if you follow the odds on this thing, which those people know what they're talking about. It's heavy in Mendoza's favor. There's got to be some kind of effort to create some drama around the trophy. Ultimately, the trophy is nice, but even Mendoza said that it's nicer. It would be nicer to win the Rose Bowl, win the next game, win a national championship. All of those things are still ahead of the Hoosiers, and so that is something that um, he's really focused on. But again, continues to be a great guy. Brian Haynes picks up, I believe, assistant coach of the year in by one of the organizations today. It is exciting to see these um, things coming up, coming out, and the awards coming Indiana's way because they certainly has deserved it. Uh, I just, it's just been an exciting week for Indiana. You had the issue at Louisville, I understand that, but to bounce back with this one and score 113 points in the game, 44 points from Lamar Wilkerson in 24 minutes, set records, Assembly Hall scoring record, 3-point record. All of those things are really great to see. And it's great to have Indiana playing in a very high efficient level, in Big Ten against a Big Ten opponent. Build some momentum heading to Rupp Arena. Come back with a couple of mid majors before we head into 2026. This was the game that Indiana needed at this point, and they got what they needed for it. So, very last call for any phone calls 812-393-2600. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and we'll shut this down for a Tuesday evening. But Indiana 8-2 overall, 1-1 in conference play. This is a game that they can lean on. It seems like they learned from an energy standpoint, and this also could end up being a team that's a lot better at home than it is on the road because you're talking about just the welcoming environment that they're used to. That's all part of this equation. Well, that's all the time we have on the Peegs podcast, the Peegs postgame live. There we go. Let's try that again. That's all the time we have on the Peegs postgame live. I want to thank you for listening. And I want to remind you to visit Peegs.com for the very best in IU football and basketball coverage you're going to find anywhere. Nobody covers Hoosier recruiting better than Jeff Rabjohns, Matt Weaver, Trevor Andershock, and Jared Kelly. So come be a part of a thriving and exciting community at Peegs.com. Folks, you are not going to be disappointed. Folks, we're out of time. But for now, and for Jeff, Matt, Trevor, and Jared, I'm Ken Bykoff saying thanks for listening, everybody.